My father sold our childhood home together with our belongings without telling us, so I bought it from the new owner, and his jaw dropped when I told him that he is not welcome. My dad has always been the kind of man who thinks what's yours is mine, but somehow what's mine is definitely not yours. Growing up, he treated our house, the one my grandparents left to both my parents, as if it were his personal trophy. He never asked anyone else's opinion on changes, and any repairs or renovations were done based on what would impress his friends, not what we needed. When I was 10, my brother and I begged him to keep the old oak tree in the front yard because we used to climb it after school. The next weekend, it was gone. Too much of a hassle to rake the leaves, he said. When my mom cried about it, he told her she was overly sentimental. By the time I was a teenager, I noticed a pattern. If something had emotional value to us, he didn't see it as special. He saw it as leverage. He'd threaten to throw out our keepsakes if we didn't do chores fast enough. Once, he boxed up all my mom's photo albums and put them in the shed for decluttering during a fight, and some got ruined in a storm. After my mom passed away, the house became even more precious to my siblings and me. It wasn't just four walls. It was the last piece of her we had. Every room held a memory. Family dinners in the kitchen, my mom sewing late into the night in the den, birthday parties in the backyard. I thought my dad understood that. Apparently, I gave him too much credit. One Saturday, I went to visit the house. I'd moved into my own place a few years earlier. I pulled up and saw a moving truck in the driveway. At first, I thought maybe he was getting new furniture. Then I saw strangers hauling boxes out. I walked in to find my dad casually sipping coffee in the kitchen, our kitchen, while two people I'd never seen before were carrying my mom's old rocking chair out the door. "What's going on?" I asked. He looked at me like I was interrupting him. "Oh, I sold the place," he said, like he was talking about selling a used bike. "Got a good offer. Didn't think it was worth bothering you with the details. Didn't think it was worth bothering me. About the house we grew up in. About the one thing my mom wanted to pass down to us." I asked him where we were supposed to get our things. He shrugged. I told the buyers they could keep whatever they wanted. Less hassle that way. I couldn't even speak. I just walked out. I didn't trust myself not to start screaming. For weeks, I avoided talking to him. Then, by sheer coincidence, I ran into the new owners at a coffee shop. They were a middle-aged couple who recognized me from old family photos left in the attic. They told me they'd bought the place as a fixer-upper, but they were planning to downsize in a few years. That was the seed of my plan. Over the next 2 years, I stayed friendly with them, sent holiday cards, dropped off cookies at Christmas, even offered to help them with small repairs. I never brought up buying the house because I didn't want to seem pushy, but every time I visited, I quietly took note of how much work they were putting into it. Then last spring, they mentioned they were ready to move closer to their grandkids. Before they could even list the house, I made them a fair offer. Cash, no real estate agents. They agreed. When I signed the papers and got the keys, I didn't tell my dad right away. Instead, I waited until the moving truck was gone, and I'd put some of my mom's old saved belongings that I'd managed to rescue from storage back into place. Then I called him and said, "Hey, wanna come over? I have something to show you." He walked in, took one look around, and froze. "What? How?" he stammered. I smiled. "You sold it. I bought it back. The difference is, this time, it's not yours to sell." He tried to play it off. "Well, if you wanted it so badly, you should have bought it from me back then." I told him, "I wanted it back then. I just didn't want you to have a penny from it." The look on his face was the sweetest bit of closure I've ever had. Now, the house is mine. My siblings come over for Sunday dinners like we used to. We've planted a new oak tree in the front yard, right where the old one stood. And the best part? My dad has to drive past it every time he goes into town. A month after I moved in, I got a knock at the door. It was my dad. He looked around like he owned the place again and said, "So, when can I move into my old room?" Full story on channel, link below.